Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Dr. Kathryn May's Blog Talk Radio program Channel Panel. And today is April 1st, 2015. And tonight we have as our host Dr. Kathryn May, and our special guests are Mother, Father, Source, and Sananda, here to share the news from our family of light and the changes taking place on our beloved planet. This is Meg, your co-host for the program, and Kathryn May is all tucked in her beautiful home in High Falls, New York, with her loving family up there. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi, Meg.
Hi, good evening. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, we really are tucked in. We have a fire in our wood stove, and we're all in our little sunroom. No sun anymore, but we're all cozy in our sunroom, and everybody's listening right around the fire. So tonight's our fireside chat. We have amazing stuff for the show tonight. We've got, of course, Mother, Father coming to talk to us, and Sananda. And as people who've read the log that I sent out have discovered, there have been some amazing things going on in the world, in the Temple of Light. It's, you know, if you're not tuned into the energies, you might not have noticed it. But I've been getting lots of emails from people since I sent that out saying, oh my gosh, that Thursday that you were talking about nausea and headaches, I was completely wiped out in bed. I thought I had the flu, ready to go to the emergency room. And so many people have written to me to say, oh my gosh, thank you for telling us that, because that's exactly what was going on with me. So there are lots of light workers helping out. I got so many comments from people saying, I'm on it. I'm helping out. I'm helping to process these energies. I'm sending love to Terra. We're going to help her. We're going to keep her steady. Everything's good. So it really did inspire a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I think the other issue that a lot of people noticed from reading the log and from our recent emails and shows were the problems that have occurred as a result of the work that's happening in the Temple of Light, and that is that the first group who went through the darkest of the dark, their higher selves went to the light and now are back 100% light. And they are now trying to get back into the bodies of those who are so dark and so damaged that they're trying to shut out any bit of light. So I've gotten a number of very interesting comments from people. I will tell people that the Company of Heaven does not just knock people off. So that's not an option, apparently. But you, Meg, I think had a brilliant idea. And we're going to put it out to Mother, Father, and Sananda and see what they think. Would you like to take the talking stick and tell people what your idea is?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Kathryn. So as some of you may know, I practice Chinese medicine in a clinic in Georgia, and acupuncture and nutrition. And the foundation of the 10,000-year-old practice of Chinese medicine is to restore balance and harmony to the body by removing any block or obstacle to the body reaching an equilibrium or still point or homeostasis. A lot of it has to do with what we eat, of course, and the ways that we use our body that is not in alignment with our highest good. But regardless, with acupuncture, you can still use the internal grid system of the body to also reach some type of balance. So when I heard Kathryn and the Temple of Light on the ground were working with the Temple of Light in the higher dimensions to work together to generate ideas on how we could reestablish this link and make it easier for the higher selves to be able to download this loving and light information and let the incarnations receive this to then restore them to the beings that they were destined to be and reconnect with their heart and mind. And so I thought, well, if acupuncture is used to remove blocks and obstacles, and what we're talking about here are blocks and obstacles, I just saw this picture, and many people have seen it before, that was drawn by Leonardo da Vinci, of the man that's standing with his arms up to the sky and his feet spread apart on the ground in this position. And it's in sacred geometry. It's in a square, and it's also in a circle. So there's something very sacred geometry about this. And it shows the meridian system within this man and how the meridians are connected to light, because the arms reaching up open the meridians that connect to the company of heaven and the higher dimensions. And the feet pull the meridians and reach into Mother Earth. So we are literally a conduit system with the acupuncture meridians to conduct light. Well, that's all y'all have been asking us to do, is to be conductors, to ground light. So if these beings are not able to do this, why don't we use etheric acupuncture? Etheric acupuncture would work on the etheric realm. It doesn't have to be on the physical body, to restore the grid system between the higher self and their incarnations on the ground. So as I sat here in the chair, just sort of letting this idea germinate, of course I was picking out points that I would use, knowing the problems that they probably have: anger, frustration, rage, all these emotions, and I know what organ systems those are linked to. So I was having fun saying, well, if I had one of those guys on my table, I would use these points on them. And you can use etheric acupuncture with toning. You've seen people use tuning forks, and they cong them together, and they put that right on the point. So you can use toning, and then you can use gold needles, so that higher vibration Christ consciousness metal you can use. And you can also use light. So I was saying, I know Melchizedek loves to work with light. in colors, I was like, okay, Melchizedek, come in here and pick all the colors that all these people on the ground need and put that light right in that point. And who wants to sing? Come on, birds, sing the toning points for the acupuncture points. I was just playing, but then I was having so much fun with it, I thought, why not? So I stood in the pose and asked to be a conduit as a boots on the ground for this etheric acupuncture.
Brilliant.
Just to see if it would work. And then I actually was almost going to volunteer one of my friends to say, okay, you get on the table and you're going to be the guinea pig. But I just said, well, I should probably just do it myself. And so I called everybody in. I called all the Lightworkers in, and I called everybody on the show and all of our families and just said, come on, higher selves, let's do this together. And just asked if the Company of Heaven and the Temple of Light, especially, of course, Sananda and Michael and Joe Field, and Faith and Christine and Nada would all sort of overlight this, since they were the ones that stepped forward last week as sort of touchstones of the temple, and said, can you guide us in what needs to be done? And then I just said thank you, and I hope it helps, and I had fun. So that's sort of what I visioned.
That is fabulous. Your description, first of all, your description of how this is done and what you would do was absolutely so clear and brilliant. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Now everybody really, I'm sure, understands exactly what you were talking about. And for those who are new, it's the higher selves who have been completely restored to the light that are having trouble getting into the bodies that are here on Earth. So, of course, we can't get all the bodies onto an acupuncture table. But your idea of using light and etheric points, because our bodies respond to the energy. So, yes, of course it could be done symbolically, etherically, and would have a huge impact, especially if it was repeated. You know, this doesn't have to be once. It could be constant intervention to wake up their connections, to dismantle the blockages, because it's the blockages, you were right. It's the blockages that they have in place because of all the years, the lifetimes, some of them hundreds, maybe thousands of lifetimes without ever going to the light. And they are so shut down and so damaged that their bodies and their minds are completely programmed to avoid the light. So it has to be something that can intervene in a way that will shock the body into attention or create some kind of, we can't get them in to do shock therapy, of course, but something that will wake up their bodies, wake up the memory in their bodies of being normal humans, which they were when they were born. So, until they got this programming back into the bodies, they had an option to be normal human beings. Okay, and I have a suggestion. Okay. The body organs show the universe. Is that what you wanted me to read? Okay, here. Faith has something. So then Mother, Father, God can come and massage light into their bodies. Oh, what a lovely idea. And their higher selves, because their higher selves are really willing to do anything to help at this point. It's just that they were at a loss to know what to do, because they tried all the logical interventions, talking in their ear, sending them dreams, sending them music, doing all the little bubbles in their systems, trying to go through their immune system. That didn't work. Giving them a twinge or a wake-up poke. Nothing worked until now. So I'm really eager to hear from Mother, Father, God and see what they say about this, because it just sounds wonderful what you were doing. And I can hear, they're going to ask you to do it again. And they will let us know how they want you to proceed so that you can include everyone. Make sure nobody gets left out. Make sure they're all given the exact treatment that they need. But I love that you figured out which organs you would approach, which acupuncture points you would work with. Can you name some?
Sure. For example, I had a woman today. She's a perfect example. She was what I was called fried, and we can all recognize when we meet somebody who's fried.
Yeah.
And no eye contact, jittery, can't sit still, and she had real trauma in her background, just like these people have. So she's probably coming into my mind because she's the perfect surrogate for this and what I saw happen. And post-traumatic stress, the whole thing. Her nervous system was just shot, and her adrenal glands, which Sananda talked about so often, about the adrenaline and the cortisol. And when she got on the table, I used points that calm the nervous system, which are large intestine 4, liver 3, spleen 6. These are how the names are said in America, but in China they have beautiful things like Sanju Yin and all those beautiful words. But it works on the liver system, on the heart system, and on the bladder system, which in Chinese medicine is the nervous system, because it runs up and down the back and all over the brain and all the way down to the feet. So it's the only channel that goes that far and has that many points. And so when I'm picking out the points, I'm just... Say that again? The whole back. Double lines on the whole back. So it runs right along where the nerves come off the vertebra to innervate all the organs in the body. So when I'm working on the spine, that's what calms the nervous system or excites it, depending on what I want done. But so I worked on her back, I worked on her skull, and then on her brain, and on those points. And she got off the table and she went, "I'm literally a different person." And she said, "Can I come back tomorrow and every day until this holds?" And I saw what we are capable of when we are in alignment, what it means when the nervous system has an opening, and her whole expression was beautiful. And she went, "I'm at peace." And I said, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I was talking about." And if in any way the Company of Heaven can give us more information about how we can do some type of meditation like this for them, for ourselves, for ourselves, ask for our higher self and the Company of Heaven to be able to allow our nervous system. But it's so fun because some people love to work with sound, some people love to work with colors, some people love to work with minerals and metals like gold. So depending on what your affinity is, you can use whatever you'd like. So when I saw that, I went, well, I wonder if this could have the same effect on all of a sudden the people who are having trouble feeling this peace, if they just had one moment of an opening of this is how they could feel, why wouldn't we choose that all the time? if this was available to us. I just don't think they know it's available.
That's right. They haven't felt it, so they don't know. But especially if there's even an opening, even for a few seconds, the higher selves can bring in light and keep the opening going. And I think it's happening because I'm going to talk about this. I won't name who it is because the process isn't finished yet. Someone in the family is working with an Iraqi man who came to, the vision of him came to her. She was feeling just flattened by, I think she described headaches, nausea, and breathing problems, terrible breathing problems. And she woke up just barely able to breathe and spent hours feeling like she was clearing some terrible darkness and struggling with it. And then she'd feel better for a little while, and then it would happen again. And she's been feeling this now for several days. And she said she thought she recognized who this was. And I'm not going to name any names this week. We'll wait until the process is finished. But if you can think of the most problematic Iraqi that we know of, leader, then from the past, this is the one she's working on healing now. And, of course, he was one of the first and one of the darkest. So it is working. She said she can feel it being released. The darkness is being released little by little. And if he's in the same shape she's in, or probably worse, far worse, then he's not making any trouble right now. And that's very important for us to know about Iraq, too. So that is really good news. And that's just one person that we know of because she contacted me to tell me about it. So there are many others, many other light workers who are helping with this and are acting as surrogates. And as these people begin to remove the darkness, it's going to be traumatic because their bodies are so damaged and their nervous systems are so damaged. But I love what you said. I can't wait to hear what Mother, Father say about it. And now I really want to hear from them. So for people who haven't yet gotten the email, we should give them our references. And first, let's give them your Facebook page, Meg, because people are going to want to know about you, and maybe you could write a few words about what you just said. Or actually, what we'll do is take your piece and put it on YouTube. Eleonora she says yes. She's been doing a beautiful job of taking pieces from the show and posting them on YouTube, and we're getting just hundreds and hundreds of people. Now I think we're in the thousands signing up for these YouTube it's really a copy of the show, but now it's on YouTube and nicely edited. So we can take the piece where you described this and put it on YouTube. So hooray. Okay, so you can find Meg at wisdomwithin-Meg Davis. That's her Facebook page. And my website is whoneedslight.org. So you can sign up for the emails and make sure you get the messages when they come out. And there will be, generally we have the one radio show a week and at least one email message. The last one was, I think, 2 weeks worth. But in between, we've also been sending out, or are planning to send out, the transcript of the shows. which is another way that people can use this. And we have gotten a number of thanks from people who are hard of hearing, who couldn't listen to the show directly, or who don't have a very good internet connection, and they wanted to be able to read the transcript. So we have such good volunteers and people helping us to do the transcriptions. So we're starting to really crank things out so that more things will be available. So that's the beginning for tonight. I mean, that's just an introduction of what we're going to hear about. So let's, I'm going to turn this over to you, Meg, and get a little drink of water and call in Mother and Father to see what they want to tell us about this recent challenge.
All right, Kathryn, that sounds great. We'll just give you a second to connect with our beloved Mother and Father, and looking forward to bringing in whatever information they have to share that will help us with this. And I don't know who's coming first. Maybe they're coming together, but welcome. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, beloved Meg. This is Mother. I decided to come and talk to you today. We take turns. But, of course, it's always, since our minds and hearts are one, we always work together. But we like to talk sometimes as our individual selves, you might call it. So here we are in the midst of an enormously important project. And thank you so much, Meg, for your suggestion. As Kathryn has said, there is some success. We have redoubled our efforts, you might say, and the higher selves have been inspired by the concern that came from so many Lightworkers and by the constant suggestions and help that Kathryn has channeled to us. She has many suggestions coming up by email. She comes to the temple with us, and we talk it over, and there are many, many suggestions. And, of course, there are many people involved. So the higher selves are inspired with each new suggestion and work with it to see if their incarnates will respond. And it depends, some respond to one thing, some to something else. And so this large flow of concern and love and light being sent, and the special techniques that people have suggested. Some work for one, some work for others. So it has really buoyed the spirits of the higher selves who are working so hard to intervene, to get through to the incarnated bodies and minds of those who were so damaged and who are so dark. It is working, beloved ones. I want you to know. You may not see obvious signs yet, but what you will see first is a kind of waning of the enthusiasm of the cabal. They were already, well, as your masters have called it, they were already on the run. They knew that the Lightworkers are gaining in strength, that the policies they have in place, especially the economic systems, are failing and are being reversed. No one has missed, I'm sure, the fact that the BRICS financial system has been put into place, and look how quickly. Now I think there are over 50 countries have joined with the Chinese and the other Asian countries that began this project. And look, now you have an entirely new system of oversight for the world financial systems. And it has happened in less than a month. Things are moving very fast on the planet. Now, if people who say they don't see any change cannot be watching very closely, or else don't understand the complicated, interwoven effects of these policy changes, you can feel it happening. Everyone knows that Iraq is changing fast. The new leaders, new policies, new laws are being put into place daily, and it is very exciting. The Iraqis are practically beside themselves with happiness and astonishment at how quickly their country is changing. You mentioned the one who is in treatment with one of your dear friends, and indeed, it is happening and it is successful. So little by little, those who were involved in the most heinous of interventions and distractions and warmongering are being taken out of the scene. You may not see it on the news. They may just, you may think that they just had the flu. Oh, Kathryn is feeling my energy. I'll back off just a little. It would not, of course, be advertised because these people who are in charge of the darkest of the dark organizations never acknowledge when they're sick or if they're taken to the hospital. It's always a secret. So you're not hearing about every nuance of what is being done, but we assure you, progress is being made. It is truly a new day on planet Earth. I know that Kathryn mentioned in her log how hard everyone is working. The Lightworkers on the ground. She described some of the work that's happening in her family. This is happening across the globe. We have dedicated Lightworkers who have been working hard to transmute these dark energies. And I also want to mention they have observed in this family, in Kathryn's house, how the animals are working. They have here 2 cats who are remarkable masters. They work diligently, day and night. They're 2 sisters. They work together. One patrols at night, the other one during the day. And they are constantly attentive and responsive to any needs or dark energies that happen to try to come through. Of course, they don't get through the pillar of light that surrounds this family. But the cats see them coming. They see the energies outside the pillar, and they patrol the perimeter of the house, watching. They see these dark energies, the thought forms that are still what you might say on the loose in your environment. The animals are working hard to absorb them. Your cetacean nation, as we call them, the whales, the dolphins, are also working very hard. It is their commitment, their mission to help clear and sustain and uplift humankind. They are working very hard to clean and clear the energies, the toxins of the oceans and the air, and to help humankind in that way. The birds, they're not just there to sing and lift your hearts, although that is a wonderful thing that they do. They, too, are a part of the clearing and the cleansing of the air and the soil. Of course, the trees, you know how the trees work to help you, cleaning the air constantly, absorbing the toxins, releasing them in different form, sending the energy down into the earth so that Mother Earth can clear it. And of course, the beginning of the log we asked Kathryn to create because we wanted you all to know how much Terra was needing your help, and still does. She has had a very difficult time of it. The concept of fracking is one of the worst, most vile violations of the body of Earth that anyone could have ever thought of. And not only are they drilling deep into her body, as much as 5 miles into her body, but these wells are now being used not just to extract gas. That was the excuse. It's what the energy producers and the politicians are telling you, that this is going to be the big solution for everyone. It's going to take care of your energy needs. Well, of course it's not. That was not even the purpose. The purpose was to drill these deep wells and use them to dump the most vile, toxic waste. So many names of complex materials and chemicals, radioactive, poisonous, all forms of toxic chemicals that are the waste products of so many of the industries, the fertilizers and chemicals that are produced as to kill your insects and supposedly to help grow things. You've heard of the horrible Monsanto concoction called Roundup. It's now sprayed on healthy plants in the process of harvesting. So this means that GMO crops are even more dangerous to you than you thought. And there are even farmers who've been convinced to use it on their regular crops. So, beloved ones, shift your diets to organic foods produced by farmers you know in your local areas. Make friends with your farmers. Make friends with your local organic food stores. You can change the world this way. And Terra so desperately needs your help. There is no single action that can change the world more than this if everyone simply stops buying those products. They are not food, they're poison. And so to say it's less expensive, well, yes, maybe it's less expensive to poison yourself than to eat real food, but that is the choice. Well, enough of that. We've brought you up to date on a few things around the world. If you have access to international news, I encourage you to look in on what's happening in Iraq. It's very exciting. And as you will see, your blessings are on the way. It delights us to know, to see this wonderful shift that's happening. You've called it rolling out. It will roll out across the planet quietly as possible. Nevertheless, you, our beloved Lightworkers, are going to be delighted. Now, along with these very positive, very encouraging things that are happening, we have asked our beloved family, Kathryn and Christine and Eleonora, and their Eleonora's daughters, to take a new approach to what's been happening on the ground. You were aware, they talked last week, of having removed a template that was agreed to. Well, let me tell you a little bit about that story. This is not something we have ever talked to you about before. It is something that we regret and that we had not intended. But you don't know the story about what happened after the Anunnaki left. It has been a very busy 20 years or so for us in your time. As you know, we have been very prolific in our creation of new universes and new possibilities as Earth and the other universes are expanding. We have created much that is new in the multiverse. At the same time, your beloved masters have been working with us. Sanat Kumara and Lady Venus, the ones that introduced you to the concept of Mother and Father God, who were what you might call our stand-ins, who came to talk with you, to be the ones who would be personable and available and present for you. Well, now you know their identity. The one who called himself Yahweh and Jehovah and Allah. Actually, those are the names that humans gave him. And his twin, the one who pinched Kathryn's toe and gave all those wonderful messages. They have now taken the assignment as prime creator in our new universe. It is a glorious thing that they're producing there. The creative juices are flowing, you might say. We are having a wonderful time creating these new universes. But in the meantime, we turned over the oversight of planet Earth to a certain partnership, pair of archangels who were to oversee the progress that happened around the time that the Anunnaki were scheduled to depart. We had arranged the treaties. We had presumed that all would go well, and that when the Anunnaki left, the other dark races would also be leaving planet Earth. And so we thought that things had been taken care of and that things would be getting much better for you. That was beginning around 1996, when we expected to see the light on planet Earth increasing day by day. Instead, the ones who were in charge, how can I say this, really betrayed the project that is the ascension of planet Earth by making bargains with the Anunnaki and their minions, bargains that were not authorized by us, contracts that were not arranged in the usual way. We have never agreed to humankind taking on a contract without long thought and discussion amongst all the company of heaven and humankind themselves, all the ones who represented humankind, have always been the ones in charge of any contract that they were asked to live under. This universal law, rule, was transgressed by those who were in charge. And there was a secret agreement made. Part of that agreement, because those in the higher dimensions, whom we expect to always be, operating in the highest, at the highest level. It may sound amazing to you that someone who was an archangel could be brought down or seduced by the dark ones. But it was a result, you might say, of the interaction between the higher selves and their incarnations, the souls who came to planet Earth to incarnate hundreds, thousands of times. There is a real interaction between the soul on the planet here incarnated and their higher self. And when a higher self has arranged many, many incarnations, and those souls have lived through traumatic and difficult lifetimes, it has an effect on the higher self. And this was the case with our beloved archangels who were in charge. The many, many lifetimes struggling against the dark took a toll on them. Because this is part of the soul lessons that we have promised you. When you have an incarnation on this planet, or any planet, when you come back to the light and rejoin with your higher self, the events, the energy, the karma of that lifetime is absorbed into the higher self, or what we call the greater soul. And when this happens, time after time, that the incarnation is seduced by the darkness or suffers tremendous abuse and damage in that lifetime, it can have a serious effect on the higher self, just as the higher self has an effect and great influence over their incarnation. And so many lifetimes of very difficult assignments had led this twin pair to be vulnerable and at times attracted to something you might think of as a bit of ego, And so they took it upon themselves to make decisions separate from us, separate even from the company of heaven. There was a bit of the idea that they would be the saviors and that they would arrange things in such a way that planet Earth would be benefited, supposedly. Well, these arrangements that they made, the contracts that they agreed to on behalf of humankind, were put into practice. And what we've seen is the result to millions of our children who were asked to carry the template that the young women here experienced. Fortunately, in the care of their light worker adults, they were able to identify these templates and remove them. And they removed them in the name of all young people. Now, this is possible, unlike the dark cell, which you all did agree to thousands of years ago. This one, this template, was not agreed to by all of humankind and was not agreed to by us. Those who agreed to carry it, the small groups of what we've called the rainbow children, did agree to it, unknowing what the real effect would be, and have suffered greatly because of it. An entire generation of young people have suffered greatly because of it. That is ended because of their actions, because of their ability to search within themselves to find the difficulty that they were carrying and remove it. And so that contract is canceled. There will be no more children who will be inflicted with these terrible implants, and it will not happen ever again to humankind. We promise you that. I have asked the children to talk about this, and they have agreed. And so let me turn to them now and ask them to describe what they felt when they carried this implant and how they feel now that they have removed it. And I want all of you to listen carefully, because they have an important lesson to teach about several things. One is the danger. Well, let's say the entire story teaches a powerful lesson about the danger of being seduced by darkness and the danger of allowing your ego to lead you astray into thinking that you can take something on all alone and make it right. This is not how we operate in the company of heaven, and this is not how we want you to operate now. We want you to join together, to work together. And I'm going to ask these young women to talk with us about this and about how they have worked with their healing since the time that they discovered this. They've now been working on removing the programming that was a result of this implant. And this is where the title of our program came in. They have been asked to have zero tolerance for any indulgence in the dark program to completely eradicate all of the residue. And as they do this, it is going to have a powerful effect on the other young people who were inflicted with this implant. And I ask all of you who have children, who know young people who are suffering from these symptoms, and know that now they will need help overcoming the programming. The implants have been removed. It is now the programming that remains, and that they will need help with. Now let me pass the talking stick to this group of young women who will give you a sense of what they've experienced in the last week or two. Are you ready, dear?
Yes.
Here is the one they call Jovine.
Thank you, Mother. Hi. So, my experience of the template was basically, like, the base of it was just a lot of hate, defiance, entitlement, and laziness. So I made a list of stuff I can remember that I experienced because, like, we've been clearing and coming to new points of views and moving up to higher standards, and I was actually having a hard time remembering, so I had to write it down really fast. So one of the things was anger at anyone who was, quote-unquote, against the template, because the template, you know, is like everybody who wasn't with you was an enemy. And I started feeling hate towards my parents at a very young age. It was like unexplained hate, and I was confused because I loved them, but then I would hate them at the same time, and I didn't want to hate them. And then when it came to school and even with siblings sometimes, I felt like I was separated from everyone. And like when we started with the enlightenment path and stuff, learning about higher beings and stuff and who we are and Mother, Father, God, I felt separated from them as well. I was very uncaring and lazy. I didn't care to figure out how to get a job. I didn't care about college. I never saw myself living on my own. I actually saw myself, I put it in this order too, saw myself having a baby and then getting married to the father of the child. That way I could be like a housewife and not have to really do much.
She's obviously never been a mother.
Yeah, like I didn't put much factors into any plans I made. I just like, yeah, let's do that. It's going to be so easy and laid back and chill. Like whatever. That's how it was. There was like a constant battle in my mind. Because after we did the intensive retreat with Kathryn and removal of the sleeper cell, even after that, it was like every day I was consistently like clearing thought form after thought form, and it'd be like the same thought form. And even after we did the programs, it's like the same thing would come up, and it'd be clearing, and I was like exhausted every day, and I had a headache all the time because I was clearing so much all the time. Like I thought everything I was feeling, even from when I was young, I thought it was normal. But at the same time, when I hear Kathryn talk about her experiences and I read the book, Who Needs Light, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that stuff's not normal. So what's wrong with me? And that's where the feelings of alienation come. And then it's like, oh, I don't belong here. I'm not normal. Look at everybody else around me. I'm not normal. And that's where the idea of I should kill myself comes from, because you don't feel normal even with your parents. And I actually did try to kill myself one time, but when I put the knife on my skin. It was like, oh, no, that's going to be so painful. So I chickened out, and I didn't do it. I was about around 16 or 17. So not long ago. I'm 18 now. I felt like I was always feeling doubt. Doubt about myself, doubt about my future, doubt about the people around me, just doubt with everything. Doubt about my abilities, doubt about what I could do. Even doubt about my clearing. Like, am I really clearing this? Am I really connecting? Am I really the light? I felt like anything I ever did wasn't enough. And, of course, that's, like, part of the doubt, I think. Yeah, and I felt like I couldn't really connect with my twin flame or Father, Mother, God. Like, there was some giant distance between us, and I could never be able to hear them and stuff, and it would take me a long time to finally get there. I felt like I couldn't learn on my own. Like, with my schoolwork and stuff, I just felt like I always needed help. Even though I was an AB student, I just felt like I always needed help, and I just couldn't do anything on my own, and I just couldn't figure it out. It was just impossible or whatever. It was ridiculous. And I really, it's like part of me wanted to help out, but at the same time was like, nah, I mean, I don't really, but I'll just say I do, because, I mean, I kind of do, so I'll just go with that kind of, and then when I don't want to help anymore, I'll be done. And I just felt like I prefer to do things that make me happy. So if it makes me happy, yeah, I'll do it. If not, then I just don't want to. I had a really hard time feeling compassion toward people and feeling like real love. Because whenever I would feel emotions especially, there would always be some type of distortion that would come in, something that made it feel heavy, and of course the doubt would come in. And one of the things I did, I was fighting to feel my emotions, so I amped them up so high so that I could really just feel it and experience it and grasp it. And one of the other ways I tried to feel was with touching people. I always wanted to hug people and touch them and, like, feel the physical connection, because if I couldn't feel the connection emotionally, I had to feel it physically. I had to get some connection. And another thing was I just didn't really feel I could trust others. Like, there was like a tiny inkling that I couldn't trust others, and I couldn't really trust myself. So I was basically just in inner turmoil all the time, even after the sleeper cell removal, even after the intensive retreat, and it just felt like everything was impossible. But then that night when we removed it as a family and stuff for everybody, it was like a ginormous relief. Like an amazingly ginormous, wonderful, beautiful, blissful relief. Of course, then after that, there was still, like, you know, the programming, like the shadows and stuff that had to be cleared up and healed. And I had to really, well, one of the things I know now, I have to really be adamant about it. I have to keep up at it, and I have to keep going and don't stop, don't slug. No matter, like, if a sluggish feeling comes up or you're feeling, like, all cloudy inside, I have to connect with Mother and Father God, give it to them, ask them to help me heal it. If it's something that is a trigger, I trace it, I understand it, I give it to Mother and Father God, I heal it, and I keep paying attention to everything I feel. Because I know if it doesn't bring me joy and it isn't in service to the mission on the planet and who I really am and God, then it's not of the light, and it doesn't deserve to be in my body or something like that. One of the main things, too, that was such an issue for me was every time someone talked about being in service, I was like, in service? Have you lost your mind? Why would I want to be in service? That is so disgusting. It means I have to be a slave for somebody. But now I understand. I'm just like, service is who I am. Because if I wasn't here on the planet right now experiencing what I'm experiencing, I would be in the higher dimensions in service to God and everybody and to myself. And it's fun. Kathryn's always saying, this is going to be fun. She always says that. So now I understand. It was the program, all those dark thought forms that was making it seem like it's such a horrible thing. And it's like, you just got to keep pushing through it. You just keep going through it. Because it's, you got to keep up your momentum. If you start to slow down, then it'll be a bit more difficult to jump back up there. But you just got to keep going. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, here's Faith.
Hi, this is Faith. My implant was a little bit different than theirs. It made me feel dead. So it was like everything I was doing, I was learning to look at the living and take what they were doing and do the actions, but not really feel. So basically, I was a robot taking everything and doing it to perfection. Now I'm going to say it. Everything had to be done to perfection because that's what I saw as doing what everybody else was doing. It was a horn shape. It enclosed around my heart all the way up through like my throat. My whole brain was just covered in it, and I had to like really pull it off. It was different, and I'm like over here like, well, did I really get rid of my implant? Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, yours was different. And now you're gonna thaw. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna thaw. This is interesting. I'm cold and I'm thawing, and this is what thawing feels like. And instead of allowing warmth in, I was just like, I'm thawing, I'm still cold. I didn't really move with it and gather momentum and bring in the love and the light the way I should have been doing, and I'm doing it now, though. And I learned a lot from that. I learned that at one point I was living, I died, and now I'm living again. And it's more fun to live in light and in love than it could ever be in darkness, because in darkness there's limitation, and you just see everything as a barrier and a blockage, or just this stop, you can't do that. Do you not see the height of that mountain? And it's cold up there. Why would you want to be cold? Whereas if you just keep going, you'll realize there's a beautiful view from up there. So that's my piece. Javine has a little bit more to share with you, too. So here you go.
Yeah, I forgot to explain what the template looked like. It was basically, for me and Jade, it was basically about it was like an inch thick, like body armor in a way. And it was just like in the front of the body. It wasn't completely around the body, it was just in the front. And it was like, it was molded to the body. It was like molded metal or something like that. Flexible molded metal that was an inch thick. And like, we had to just take it out, and Mother and Father were there and they helped us and stuff. But another part of that template was like, you're either right or you're wrong. And if you're wrong, you get in a lot of trouble. So you need to be right all the time. So yeah, that was just a part of it too.
You mean your brain too? For your brain and your body?
Oh yeah, the template was from like the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes.
do you think that others your age are experiencing the same thing? Have you seen this in other kids?
The question Kathryn asked just now is, do I see this stuff in other kids? Have I seen it in other kids around me? Part of the template, I think, is you're either miserable or you just do everything you're told. So I've seen kids in school, a lot of people, they separate themselves, of course, into all the groups, and those are like traditional groups from what I've heard in a way, but the groups have a different meaning. It's like you're literally separate. You're even separate from the people in your group at school, like jocks and cheerleaders and preps and stuff. And there's like, I've noticed some of my friends, one of them in general, she like was always doubting herself, beating herself up, because, yeah, with the hatred, it was a lot of self-hatred. Self-hatred was a big part of it. You hated everybody and you hated yourself. So she always beat down on herself. She never thought she was pretty enough, and she never thought she'd be good enough for anything or anybody. And she always said she'll grow old to be a cat lady or something like that. And then with the really smart kids, they were like, just go for everything. They just do everything. They study all the time. And, I mean, perhaps they found a true passion in it, but the general base of it was, this is what my parents expect me to do, so I'm just going to go for that and just keep going for it. And maybe one day I'll find happiness. So
basically everyone around
you. Here's Kathryn.
Yeah. I didn't know the answer to this. If it had affected everyone, all of the young people in their age group, or perhaps we got the sense that it might have been mostly the rainbow children.
Yeah, it's mostly.
You think it was mostly the ones, the indigos, the crystals, and the rainbow children. Yeah, the ones who came here as light workers, specifically to help out, to raise the vibration. They're the ones who were especially affected or chosen. Okay, thank you. Is there anything that anyone else wants to add? Okay, this is Faith.
A little bit more advice for those who find themselves in a kind of stuck situation where they feel like they can't keep going. Take truth, grab it, fly with it, find other truth, grab it, and keep on going. There. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I've seen them do in a just remarkable and determined way is to look for the truth about themselves. And they've been very courageous about this zero tolerance for darkness. They are rigorous and are helping each other, are just on a mission now to remove all of this darkness, all of this programming that came with the template. So it is interesting that Faith, who's the oldest, had a different type of template. Hers made her feel dead. The others, certainly it made them feel lethargic, and I think this is the generation that thought up the term whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't care. Yeah. So I hear Faith coughing. I bet her.
Yeah,
it's either her. It's all coming out.
I'm having a voice again, and so it's all of the darkness I could have possibly have had before is just coming out in the most physical way it can, which is mucus. So I'm just over here trying to keep it down because I want to listen and I don't want others to hear me, but I'm just pushing it out. So it's great.
And this is what we mean by living in a temple of light. Yeah. We're working all the time here. And here comes Eleonora, who's going to join us.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say one of the things that was uncovered today, and I think it's also key, when the children try to reconnect with themselves and find out it's their divine will. Their divine will was used for self-servitude instead of for what we all use our divine will for, which is being in service to God. And so they had to rewire that or just readjust it so that it was going the right way, so that they could receive the love from Mother, Father, God into them that sparked that divine will, that enabled them to now connect with their purpose on earth, to give them what their mission is. They realize they have a mission. They realize they have a purpose like the rest of us do. Instead of this, before it was also just contained or just made where it was only service to themselves. So that's why they just seem like a whole bunch of selfish little brats. But that wasn't who they truly were. They just had to understand that divine will that they have inside of them was for and is for always the service of God. So I just wanted to add that part. Okay. Oh, we got hands raised again. Hold on. Which one?
I'll go first because I'm right beside her. Faith again. Another thing is instead of processing, do. The process is in the doing. You'll figure it out as you go, and it's always good. Here's Javine.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, too, like with these past 2-3 days, with the whole God will and stuff, I've just been sitting here like, it's not about me. It's about the mission. Because all the kids that came in for this generation, and if you have any teenage kids or whatever, 10-year-olds, like help support them in this and realize they came here for a reason. I came here for a reason. My reason isn't to experience having a boyfriend and experience all the teenage drama and blah, blah, blah. My reason is to be a light worker and come help raise up the planet with wonderful masters who teach me and support me and help me with their beautiful love. So, yeah, and one of the things that helps with removing the program, because the ego can sometimes get in the way. It's like, I don't want reward. I don't want any cheering or anything. Confirmation is helpful and encouraging. But, yeah, with this clearing of the program, it's really helpful when you can keep your ego in check and stuff, because that'll interfere with your process. And just remember to always, always give to Mother and Father God. They're always there for us, and your guides are there with you too. Just give and give and give all day long. Every time something comes up, you have to do it, or it's just like, it just won't be enough. Because, yeah, you deserve enough. So, yeah, here's Kathryn.
Thank you. Well, you can see how hard they've been working and how challenging this was. Their intention is to get this message out for other young people as well, because everyone needs to know about this and needs to know about the struggles that our young people have been going through. There was a time, I told them about this, there was a time in my practice when suddenly I had many teachers who were coming, and would say, I don't know what to do. The children have changed. They changed suddenly over a period of just a couple of years, and the teachers would say, they don't want to learn anymore. I teach my best lesson. I think I'm being my most brilliant, teacher self, and I bring things that are done in an interesting way, and the only questions that the kids would ask is this going to be on the test? And the teachers were just in despair because they saw this change in the children. So from the point of view of the older generations, we couldn't figure out what was wrong with these children. They're not like us. They didn't have the same attitudes. And even the ones who did not have, well, everybody has some trauma in their lives, of course, but even the children who really were not mistreated and abused have this sense of being entitled to special privileges and self-indulgence and demand indulgence from everyone around them. This is the program. This is not something wrong with your daughter or your son or your grandchildren or yourself. This is a program. And it was installed at the behest of the Dark Ones and of the Prime Creator who is now no longer working as Prime Creator, because that is a job. It's not a destiny. It's a position of responsibility and honor. And it's never happened before that this kind of compromise filtered through even to the higher dimensions, even to the archangels who had been so close to God. So this has been a really hard time on planet Earth. Greater darkness, I believe, from what they've described, than has ever been known before. This was not what the original experiment was designed to produce. It was not supposed to have been this dark. So this is why it's our job now to take this position of zero tolerance toward darkness. We must remove it in ourselves, and we must do it now. So if you find yourself saying, oh, yeah, I'm feeling depressed, I think I'll go tell my friends about how depressed I am. This is spreading darkness. We must be willing to say, I will not inflict anxiety on other people. I will not announce to everyone in my household, I'm worried about you. Or, I hope you don't get hit by a car today. This is not love, and it is not light. And even light workers are sometimes afflicted with this. Why don't the company of heaven do something to make it better here? Well, that is not the arrangement. We work together to make it better. And they cannot intervene unless we specifically request it. And even then it must come within the guidelines of the understanding of what was free will. Now, I think Sananda may have something more to say about that, about the arrangement of how free will was handled up until now, and how it, in these last 20 years or so, how it went wrong because of this action on the part of those who were in charge in our universe. And it was that distortion, that bargain that was made without the participation of humankind, without the participation of Mother and Father God, the deals that were made with the Dark Ones that led to what followed, the increase in power of the reptilians. And when the reptilians finally left, just going on 2 years ago, the Cabal, their minions, the ones who had been trained by the reptilians, came into power and increased the darkness. So it's really just the last 2 years that things have gotten really difficult. And this is why Mother and Father stepped in, created the Temple of Light, and put their collective foot down to say that it will no longer be permitted that the Cabal can run roughshod over planet Earth. And this is why the higher selves were taken to the Temple of Light and were given the choice. They either had to come to the light or be dissolved. And fortunately, almost all of them, I think there were just a very few who refused. And as someone reminded me today in an email, even when a soul is dissolved, Mother and Father still have the original template for that soul who was created long ago. But they could be restored. So, and have a chance to start over. There are other things we're learning, too, about the arrangement between higher selves and those of us who are incarnated here. And one of the things we learned in the last few weeks is that those of us who are incarnated here now have equal influence on how our higher selves will develop. In this lifetime, this is new, those of us who are incarnated can change the course of the evolution of our souls. We have far more influence over what happens to our higher selves. And if something happens with our higher selves that we do not agree with, or that, like this case where the higher selves made decisions that were detrimental to planet Earth, their incarnations can decide to go to the light and to take over the job of being the higher self. And so there is a tremendous change that's happened in the evolution of souls. So with that little bit of background, that may be a little confusing to some people. Maybe Sananda will explain it a little further. I hear you on the line, Meg.
Yes.
Hi there.
Hi.
So this is pretty exciting. What's happening? So I think go ahead.
I just want to say one thing, because I know these young ladies.
Ah, yes.
Yes. To Faith, Jovine, and Jade, as well as, of course, their beloved mother, Eleonora, and Christine and Kathryn. I am just in awe of what you've shared tonight, Jovine and Faith, and I know Jade is there with her own understanding, even though she's not sharing online. She is a deep thinker and a deep feeler and has a rich story that she's holding for the light of the young people around the planet as well. But I wanted to say a particular thank you because your story will touch millions, not just young people, but also the adults as a former teacher, as a healer who works with teachers, like Kathryn said, we've seen the pain in the people that work with children. The confusion, the doubt, the self-doubt that sets in when we are unable to reach them. Your words are going deep into the hearts of people around the planet. And I'm just wanting to say thank you. Thank you for things I know you courageously took on, and thank you for things that I have no idea of the depths of what you've been experiencing. And knowing that this is part of your mission, and knowing that you've changed millions and millions of lives by what you've done fearlessly. Thank you so much. So, thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you, Meg. You said it so beautifully. Yes, it's true. They've done, yes. And now the other young people are going to need guidance and patience and light from the adults around them. And hopefully they will all heal the way these young women are doing. It's just so heartwarming to see what they've done and how far they've gone in just a matter of, a week and a half? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. Powerful masters.
So things are changing on the planet. This could not have happened here if it weren't for the intervention of Mother and Father and for the rising energies that helped us. All of it it's all a part of what's happening now on planet Earth. So I too am in wonder and in love to see how courageous these young women are and how dedicated they are. And I think we'll probably hear from Jade next week or maybe the week after. She's absorbing and digesting things and has work of her own that she's doing that I think is going to be very interesting to people in the future. She's saying yes. She'll be ready soon. They're all beaming. So I'm going to step aside and let Sananda come. And then I hope we'll have time for some questions, too, or some comments from people. I know there are others out there who are experiencing these amazing things in their own lives. So we want to make sure we make time for some of them to come and talk with us, too. So I'm going to find Sananda.
Busy guy.
Yeah, he's here. Okay. And let him come through.
All right, Kathryn, I'll give you a couple of seconds to connect with our dear brother Sananda. Welcome. We're so glad you're with us.
Hello, dear Meg. Yes, I'm here. Oh, what a day it is. What a week it is. Of course, I've been here watching, enjoying this remarkable family and their transition. It is just a delight to behold. And I also want to mention that our dear Christine is also going through a very important transition. It hasn't been talked about here at length, but Christine experienced an attack in early November. She was in the desert doing her grid work, which she has done faithfully all her life. And she called on some of the masters that she thought she would call in to create the the temple of light that she was, the pillar of light she was creating there in the desert. And unfortunately, one that she called in, the one we call Hope, the one we called Hope, when she called in Hope to join in creating the temple of light, it created an opening. And many of you know the story, that Hope had turned very dark. And as soon as Christine, unawares, called on Hope, it revealed Christine's location. And although Michael was there Archangel Michael was there to protect her, was trying to shore up the pillar of light, Hope brought in her minions to attack. They were able to deflect it to some extent, those who were protecting her, but it came very suddenly. And as she was on her way down the mountain, she was hit by a scalar weapon. This had the effect of throwing her a long distance onto the ground. She called for help immediately and was helped, of course. She knew what to do, and she knew how to begin her own healing. She managed to get herself up and continue down the path, and she was hit again. It was not a direct hit, but yet, as you have been taught recently, a scalar weapon, as we call them, are like a nuclear gun that can aim, can melt molecules, can disorganize atoms. It was what was used on 9/11 to disintegrate the towers. It also disintegrated people. And it can disintegrate souls. And so Christine was badly damaged. She had a short recovery time and then went back to work. She has not been feeling 100% ever since. And so this week, with all this going on around her in the house, Christine was asked to lie down and allow us to proceed with her complete healing. And she has done so. With the encouragement of the whole family, she has remained in bed, has accepted the treatments, and the healing team, the White Brotherhood, the Arcturians, Michael and I, many others, have been helping her. What was done was something like etheric surgery. This has never been done before. We've told you a bit about Kathryn's healing and how we used the template from Kathryn to help heal Nada after the attack on her. I will tell the story briefly again. They were aiming at me. She threw herself in front of the beam and was badly injured. It was felt directly and profoundly by Kathryn. But now you have a picture. Christine's experience was very different because it was her body on the ground that was hit, and her higher self felt the repercussions of it. So she has been healed in reverse, using the template of her higher self, and Michael, who helped to sustain her during this healing process, just as I did with our Nada and Kathryn. And she has been healing very nicely, but it has not been a comfortable process for her. There were parts of it that were very painful. And so this is why it will never again be permitted that these terrible weapons be used against humankind or against higher selves, because they are damaging to light bodies as well. And so, because of these incidents, many of the changes that are happening now have been brought to the fore. The questions were how. How do we change the rules? How do we change the guidelines about the way free will is handled? It was an easy matter when humankind agreed that they would come into this environment to experience the darkness, and they anticipated a certain amount of darkness, but not the absolute control that came into play in the last 30 years or so. It was expected to be very dark here. It was expected that there would be challenges and even suffering. That was part of what humankind bargained for. Part of what the souls who came here to incarnate expected, because planet Earth was known as the place in the universe where courageous souls came to experience the deepest emotions, the most profound experiences of love and of light and of darkness. And sometimes the most profound experiences of all those things, even within one lifetime. That was the intention. But it was not the intention that planet Earth should be plunged into the darkest, out of control experience of slavery at the hands of the dark ones. That was the unfortunate result of the bargain that Mother told you about. That was made without our approval. And so, once it was done, then it was up to us to find ways to cure these problems, to help sustain our beloved ones on the ground, and to try to turn this around without interfering with anyone's free will. This was a real dilemma, because even the dark ones had free will. And it was not a part of universal law to allow us to intervene in the workings of a planet. It has always been understood that what happens on a planet is up to the people who live there. And we are permitted to intervene only when those on the planet ask us, and only when it is in alignment with the contracts and agreements that they have agreed to. So there was a question. these templates that the young people were carrying was agreed to by a few, by the small groups who knew they were strong light workers and were coming here, they thought, to defeat the darkness. And they were convinced by those in charge that this would be the final attempt on planet Earth to eliminate darkness, and that their sacrifice of carrying these templates would allow that to happen and would allow it to be the final challenge. And so, great suffering came after that agreement. It was not in anyone's best interest. It was really a betrayal. And once it was agreed to, we don't override agreements unless those who have made the agreements find a way to appeal to us, to question the fairness of the agreement they were convinced to make. And it operates very much the same way as it does here on the surface. When you sign a contract, it is binding. But there are circumstances. If it is shown that the contract was signed under duress, or that there was great deception involved, it can be renegotiated. And this is what these young people have accomplished. They have renegotiated the contract for themselves and for all the young people. And because it was a contract that was not fairly designed, and there was great deception involved, it has been canceled. And you can see how the interplay between our great respect and adherence to the guidelines that we have always followed that have to do with our reverence for free will had to be taken into account. And so all the conditions were satisfied. Mother and father could comfortably agree that because those who were affected had requested this change, had appealed to them, and with the help of their elders, it was presented as a very convincing case that this was not a fair agreement and should not be enforced and should not be even allowed to continue. And so it is done. And now we do have young people who will need to heal. We ask all of you who know these young children, the bright ones, the unusual ones, the creative ones, who came here to help as light workers with great determination and courage under this handicap, believing that by bearing this handicap and by overcoming this darkness, they would change planet Earth. Well, it's true. They have done so. They have shown that light will always overcome darkness. That their divine will, their connection to God, will always carry them through. and that the light will triumph in the end, that love will always carry the day. It has taken us thousands of years to come to this point. But you see, beloved ones, you see how successful these young people have been. They are not alone. They represent their generation. And aren't we lucky that they do? Aren't we fortunate to see such brilliance and determination, love, and above all, their acceptance and feeling of delight, glorying in this new realization of their own divine will that had been so suppressed, so stifled. And now they are free. They're free to love. They're free to join us as full-fledged light workers who will be powerful, who will have a powerful effect on the work to come. And you see how quickly they've changed. Well, this is how quickly they're going to change things around them. It is true that the young people are the hope for every generation. And this generation is no exception. They will recover from this terrible burden they've carried. But they will recover with the help of the adults around them who can now have more understanding, more compassion for these young children who were so difficult to understand and so different from their parents. It has been a very difficult time. There was nothing wrong with them. They were carrying a template. And a terrible one it was. So those of you who remove the dark cell and feel the relief and the pleasure of being alive, they are feeling this tenfold. And you will appreciate those of you who have removed the dark cell and know what a relief it is and how lighthearted you feel afterwards. Know that you need to help the young people to come out of this darkness, to manage the programming. The good news is they're young. It will be faster for them than their elders who may have carried this dark cell for decades. They have the advantage of being young and resilient. And in their essences, they are the light workers, the rainbow children. And they will be free to join us in this wonderful process that is unfolding so quickly. Many of them are coming to the age where they will be as powerful and as brilliant and as active in this work that we're doing together as their parents are. We welcome them. We honor them. We embrace them. Welcome to the light, dear children of God. Our hearts go out to you. We're grateful for your hard work. and for the light you carry. And they have demonstrated for all of us what it means to have zero tolerance for darkness. It means that your vision for yourself is complete healing. Not that you'll feel a little better tomorrow, or that you will learn to live with your grumpiness, or you'll teach the people around you to accept your anxiety. No. It means you will tolerate none of that in yourself. It does not mean you will tolerate none of that in others, except insofar as it affects you, except insofar as you refuse to take part in it. You cannot demand that other people heal themselves, but you can demand that there be none of this in your own life. Begin with yourselves. Remove every shred of darkness. Root out every temptation, every flirtation with something that you can feel as tantalizing, an idea of power. The idea of power is what seduced our powerful archangels, the fallen ones. It was the idea of power and glory. This is what was their downfall. You see it all around you. You see people indulging in this temptation to be a rock star of some kind, to make a name for yourself by making a name for yourself, not by doing anything or by being any kind of courageous person or intelligent person or a leader in any way, but just someone who can flaunt their body or prance across a stage or make an enormous amount of money by cheating people. This does not describe any of you. Of course it doesn't. But look, beloved ones, look at the little feelings, the little glimmers of envy, perhaps, or a wish that when these blessings come to you, that you have so long awaited and so dearly deserve. Look inside yourselves for the temptation to indulge yourselves in what we have called hedonistic kinds of pleasures, the momentary ones, the thrill that doesn't last. Those are the seductions of the dark. They were like landmines that were placed there purposely to entrap you. Listen to your hearts, beloved ones. In your heart, what you wish for is light. And in the light, what we feel is the desire to express love, to express our love for others. Yes, it's delightful when others love us back. That certainly is a benefit, but that is not the purpose. If you're going out looking for love, you're looking for darkness. Instead, look to offer love, and great blessings will rain down on you, because this is the time when the energies are so high that your actions, your thoughts, all of your feelings will produce results. So look to your thoughts. Look carefully at your feelings. Talk with yourself about them. Talk with your higher self. Talk with Mother and Father. Call on me or your favorite friend, a master, an ancestor, or even someone who's incarnated next to you. Share your feelings and your thoughts. And above all, share your love. And when your blessings come, which will be very soon, share your blessings. Make that your favorite pastime, your favorite hobby, and your favorite job. To be a blessing to others. To bring blessings to others. And I don't mean just to give people money. That alone does not lift anyone. It is the light that you carry that helps others. And so, share this vision with me, beloved ones, the vision of your beautiful planet, Mother Terra, recovering, beaming, sending her love to you. You help each other, and as you help her, she can raise you up. This is how we work, isn't it? We are one. When you realize that, when you really feel it in your bones and in your heart, then life becomes truly interesting, truly fulfilling. This I say to you, beloved ones, join me. Help me carry this torch of love, this vision of the new golden age that we are now entering. I send you all my deepest love. I am yours in service. I am your Sananda. Namaste all. Namaste.
Thank you, Sananda. Namaste. Thank you from all of us.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
This is so hopeful. It's so exciting. It's such a pleasure to be here now, to be doing this work. I feel like the luckiest girl on the planet. I hope everybody else feels the same way. Well, that was really fun, and I can't wait to listen to it.
Oh, what a beautiful program. So much wonderful information, and it just gets more heartfelt each week. You just feel it. So thank you so much, all of you, everybody who participated tonight. And we do have a couple of callers if you feel like you'd like to take some calls, Kathryn. Do you feel ready for that?
Sure. Well, yes. I saved a little extra time. So I see we have 3 people who already put up their hand. So we're going to take the first 3 calls of people who are already in line. I know once we start answering the phones, we get a lot of other people who will come through. But we're going to take the first 3.
Excellent. All right, I'll go ahead and open up area code 562, ending in 7291. If you'd share with us your name and where you're calling from.
It's Cindy from Long Beach.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
I'm in real trouble. I need your help. I have been nauseous since 2 o'clock Monday morning. I'm having severe shivers, chills, terrible headaches with the nausea. Oh, my God. Just when I thought it was over, it comes back and it hits me. And I need your help. I don't know what to do. I'm nauseous right now.
You said nausea?
Yeah.
Shivers?
Yeah. That was Monday night. I went to the bathroom and I got back to go to sleep, and my whole body just started shaking nonstop, and then I was feeling nauseous, and then a horrible, horrible headache, and it's been going on since Monday at 2 a.m. And just when I think I'm over with it, I start shaking again. I was in the library, and I started shaking all over. But the nausea is the worst of it. I'm nauseous right now. I don't know what to do. Help.
Well, you sent me an email about it, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. I don't contact you unless I'm really in dire straits, and I don't know what else to do. I've been drinking water, eating ice cubes, spearmint gum. Nothing seems to be working, and I know it's the toxins that Mother Earth is suffering with. I'm picking up all of that, and it's all the nausea is just horrible. Help!
Okay, so first of all, you need to call on some help, because you're being asked to clear these things, not to keep them.
Oh.
So you got a little stuck in the process. We are channels.
Uh-huh.
We're not being asked to absorb the darkness. We're being asked to channel it, to be rid of it. So there's a special way that you do that. You picture yourself in your pillar of light. You feel those feelings coming to you, and you say, okay, I know what that is. It's not me. I'm being asked to clear this. I'm going to sneeze. There was an example of how you do it. You just be aware that you're being asked to clear something. You're not being asked to carry it. So when you feel this, you very purposefully breathe, call on your favorite angels to surround you and to help you. You take the feelings and you literally send them up and out, hand them to your team of angels who are there to help you. And they're really good at clearing this. Hand it to them.
I'm sure they really like picking up vomit. I walk around with a paper cup. It's so bad I could be walking somewhere and I find myself throwing up into a paper cup. It's nasty.
Okay.
Ask for
but you're not being asked
to
keep it.
I'm sorry.
And yes, they are there to help you in any way that you require. And you can even call on the White Brotherhood team, your medical team, to help you manage this. Because you're not being asked to store it in your body or to complain about it.
No.
Take it, give it to your angels. The feelings, the thoughts, all of it. So you have to give them the thoughts, too, that go with it.
Okay.
The anxiety and the illness. And this is what Mother Earth is feeling. This is what drilling and the toxins and the fracking is causing. It is a hideous thing that they're doing. And the more the cabal is losing ground, the more they up their activities. And this is one of the ones. It's a disgusting thing that they've designed so that they can get rid of all the toxins so that they won't be prosecuted. They found a way to, quote, legally dispose of all kinds of hideous toxins. And they're pumping them into these. Mm-hmm. So Terra is really working hard, but every once in a while she starts to retch. And then she calls on help. She's called on you to help. And the reason she's calling on Lightworkers to help is so that she doesn't. If Terra vomits, we're in trouble because that's an earthquake or a volcano. So you are truly being the surrogate to help stabilize Terra. She's asking you to experience these feelings and to transmute them. So your job is to transmute it, not to carry it.
Okay, the White Brotherhood.
Yeah. And they will gladly come and help you. They've been working on Christine, and it's unbelievable what they did today. She was so miserable and so in pain, and they actually performed surgery on her. And within a couple of hours, they told her she had to just lie down. They were going to work on her, that it would be painful, and she looked gray when they were working on her. And then hours later, she sat up in bed. She got up and said, "It's done. I feel great." And the color was back in her cheeks. She was smiling and done. So call on them. Ask them for help.
Ma'am.
This is really important work you're doing. It's not, but remember, it's not about you.
Oh, no.
If
know how to fix it.
If you attach to it in any way, then you'll feel sicker.
Oh, I want to get rid of it.
Okay. Then you must not focus on the symptoms.
Oh, okay.
You focus on clearing the energies, on sending the toxins out. You process it through your body, but only momentarily. And the process is to get it out, not for you to be sick.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry.
What you choose to do this work and to do it quickly and efficiently and with as little pain and complaint as you possibly can. And get as much help as you need. So you're doing it quickly. And then you can process a lot and be done with it.
Have you heard about the cesium-137, or is it 173, that's running up and down the coast of America? Fish are bleeding out of
something about it, but
Fukushima.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
maybe that's being asked to clear.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and do exactly what you told me to do. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks.
And you'll feel
Kathryn.
a whole lot. Okay. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Dr. Kathryn.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's going to help a lot of people, that question. Because Cindy's not the only one I've heard from who's feeling this. So that's the process, folks. Don't concentrate on the symptoms and think it's you who are ill. Let it go. Send it out. Call on as many angels as you need. There are unlimited numbers, and they're here to help us. So when you're doing your work, you're doing it quickly, and you're sending it out. So don't Don't dwell on it. Don't focus on it. Focus on getting it through and out. And then you can do huge light work and be a real benefit to this whole process without a tremendous sacrifice. It's something we do because Terra is sick, and you would take care of a friend who was sick. You would, go out of your way to help. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's talk to the next person.
All right. We're going to open up area code 910 ending in 0379. Just let us know your name and where you're from.
Let it go. Send it out. Call on.
Area code 910.
There are unlimited numbers in it. You're out.
Oh, well, they're either not listening or they're listening to their computer, and there's a delay.
Sending it out.
So 910.
Just a second to hear. Yeah, 910. Go ahead and turn down your computer and pick up the phone and let us know what your question is.
Well, we'll have to move on.
Okay.
Because there's feedback on the line. So those of you who put your hand up, remember to stay by the phone. Okay, let's go on to the next person.
All right, we're going to open up area code
is 510. Yeah, we should give them a little lead time, but 510-3365.
Good evening. This is Paul from California. How are you both?
Hi, Paul.
Hi,
We're
Paul.
Great. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly, Paul.
Okay, great. I just wanted to, report back to you. I did pick up the book, Anna, Grandmother of Jesus. I did pick up that book. That was Eleonora's suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to say thank you for that suggestion. I did read the book in full over the past 2 weeks or so, and really cleared up a lot of things that I had questions about, and just wanted to say thank you. That's all.
Oh, that's great, Paul. Yeah, and that's a good recommendation. It's a lovely book. So thanks for calling in. It was nice to hear from you.
Good hearing from you, too. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Also, I'll let people know I'm working with Sananda to re-edit the new scriptures. As we grow and evolve and become more mature in our way of processing the information that they're giving us, they keep upping the light. So there are some corrections that Sananda wanted to make in the new scriptures to make things consistent and to tell us a little bit more of the story. So I am re-editing the new scriptures. It'll be up online very shortly. And I want to ask people who are doing translations to please use the latest version of the new scriptures, which I will have done in a couple of days. And it'll be posted on the website. So I know there are people who are working on translations, and we really appreciate that. And sorry about this, but, things are evolving, and everything's changing. So I think, Sananda didn't say too much about the new scriptures and didn't really want to publicize it too much, just for those of us who could seek it out. But the time is coming when it will be distributed more widely. And we'll have a nice version and probably a book version as well that can be distributed and will probably be, and it will be as reasonably priced as we can possibly make it. And that way, the new scriptures will be out there in the world and I think help a lot of people. So, that's our call for tonight. We answered all the calls we have time for. So those of you who have really such wonderful and interesting things and good questions, make sure you are ready to call in next week. We'll be here next Wednesday. And so I'm going to go to our music, and this time I'm going to let Pharrell Williams give us a send-off, because this seems really appropriate to me. It's a really joyful time. So I'm going to say good night to Meg, our dear Meg. I know you're going to get some contacts from people who will want to know about your acupuncture techniques. Oh, and we forgot to ask Mother and Father about that, but I know they were really approving of what you said. So I think we'll be hearing more about how they're going to use those techniques. Oh, Mother's still here. She's telling me, yes, dear, we want you to continue your log. And then they will come and report how things are going and how they're using the suggestions. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
All right.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you, Kathryn.
Good night, everyone.